This is QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM. I'm Umudu Kajaga, and thank you for joining us. First, here are the headlines. The Gambia Revenue Authority, GRA, on Tuesday held a one-day sensitization workshop for taxpayers from financial institutions as part of efforts to introduce its new integrated tax administration system, ITAS, a major digital platform designed to modernize tax administration and improve taxpayer services across the country. The Gambia's economy recorded stronger growth in 2025, supported by increased activity across all sectors, strong tourism earnings and continued remittance inflows. The findings were presented during the joint dissemination of the Gambia Economic Update and the Gambia Public Finance Review, organized by the World Bank Group and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs on Tuesday. The government of the Gambia is working to improve access to clean cooking gas for women across the country. Finance and Economic Affairs Minister CDMB Keita says the initiative aims to help women cook in safer and better conditions throughout the year, regardless of the weather. And in international news, in Ghana, the capital Accra is experiencing rapid urbanization as thousands of people arrive every week in search of better opportunities. However, the growth is also raising concerns among some residents who fear that the indigenous language of the city's founders is gradually disappearing from everyday life. And in sports news, as the countdown to the 2026 FIFA World Cup continues, we are profiling each of Africa's 10 representatives at the tournament. Today, with 2 days to go, we focus on North Africa with profiles of Morocco and Tunisia. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. The Gambia Revenue Authority, GRA, on Tuesday held a one-day sensitization workshop for taxpayers from financial institutions as part of efforts to introduce its new integrated tax administration system, ITAS, a major digital platform designed to modernize tax administration and improve taxpayer services across the country. Yafatu Gay reports.
The workshop brought together representatives of the financial institutions to familiarize them with the new tax payment scheme and provide guidance on how the system will operate. The engagement also offered taxpayers an opportunity to share their views and experiences, helping the authority make the platform more user-friendly and responsive to taxpayers' needs. Esa Jallo, the Deputy Commissioner General at the GRA, emphasized that the objective of the engagement is to ensure the system is inclusive and capable of delivering quality taxpayer services.
The whole idea is that we at GRA, we just don't want to sit in our own quiet corners, plan, design, and execute, for programs and projects that at the end of the day are not entirely for GRA.
The ITAS project is one of the GRA's most significant digital transformation initiatives, funded by the World Bank. The system is replacing the existing GamTaxNet platform with a fully automated tax administration system aimed at simplifying tax compliance, increasing efficiency and enhancing revenue collection. Samba Sala, the Deputy Commissioner for Domestic Taxes at the GRA, further explained the objectives of the new payment scheme.
Once this system is up and running, you can be anywhere in the world. All you need is to have your laptop or your computer or your mobile phone and have internet connection, and you'll be able to conduct all those transactions without moving an inch.
Participants, among them Jonathan Dumbuya from insurance company IGI Gamstar, welcomed the initiative and expressed optimism about its benefits.
I think it's a laudable venture because this will enhance tax compliance to be more robust, and also it is a system that is self-generated. The taxpayer can actually do things at their own convenience.
The workshop forms part of a broader nationwide rollout of ITAs as the GRA continues its efforts to build a modern, technology-driven tax administration system that enhances service delivery and strengthens revenue mobilization in the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
Supported by increased activities across all sectors, strong tourism earnings and continued remittance inflows. The findings were presented during the joint dissemination of the Gambia Economic Update and the Gambia Public Finance Review organized by the World Bank Group and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs on Tuesday. Here is an excerpt of the Finance Minister by Julden Jai.
Our progress as a country in the domestic resource mobilization has been notable. Let me begin by recalling the remarkable progress our country has made in domestic resource mobilization. In just 4 years, the tax revenue has more than doubled, rising from 11.39 billion that is 10.8% of the GDP in 2021, to 23.9 billion, or nearly 13% of the GDP in 2025. And we are on course to hit the 15% mark within the next few years. The establishment of a dedicated tax and revenue policy directorate within the ministry marked a decisive turning point in our tax reform journey. It strengthened our ability to drive meaningful policy reforms and to better align tax expenditures within our domestic tax laws. Building on this momentum, the ministry and the GRA intensified efforts to ensure major public works contractors and consultants meet their tax obligation in full, without exception, while also rationalizing the overly generous exemptions they had enjoyed over the past years, most notably through duty waiver policies adopted in 2024. And for the first time in our history, our tax policy reform, the government has adopted a domestic resource mobilization strategy for the period 2026 to 2030. This is not just a policy document, it's a medium-term financing roadmap of our development ambitions, and it sets out a clear and ambitious goal, that is to raise the tax to GDP to the 15% threshold, which is necessary for us to anchor our development more proactively. While our progress in domestic resource mobilization has been significant, we must also be candid about the challenges that remain. These constraints continue to limit our ability to invest adequately in human capital, infrastructure, and social protection. As a result, the Gambia still relies heavily on external resources, including debt financing. This reflects deeper structural weaknesses in both the tax policies and revenue administration, from the large informal sector to significant tax expenditures, whose effectiveness are yet to be fully assessed. Despite these reforms already undertaken, important challenges remain in the tax compliance, audit capacity, and international taxation. And I want to reaffirm our government's commitment to advancing an ambitious public finance reform agenda that will help generate wealth, expand opportunity, and reduce extreme poverty in our country.
The government of the Gambia is working to improve access to clean cooking gas for women across the country. Finance and Economic Affairs Minister CDMB Keita says the initiative aims to help women cook in safer and better conditions throughout the year, regardless of the weather. He made the remarks during the launch of the Gambia Economic Update and the Gambia Public Finance Review on Tuesday. Here is an excerpt of the Finance Minister by, again, Julden Jai.
As a ministry, we are pioneering, working with different sectors across the country to bring clean cooking gas across the country. This is our ministry and national policy, to ensure that women can cook in decency in every type of weather condition, and ensure that bitumen gas is available so that our women folks don't need to depend on the weather or whether they get a bag of charcoal for them to cook. This is a key agenda of the ministry, and it's a pilot phase. Very soon we will make progress on this. This is one area we're very passionate about, and discussions are already afoot that we can realize that. And we call on the partners to join the wagon to ensure that our women folks can cook. The cost of using charcoal or firewood in terms of the healthcare implications is quite grave. Much research has shown that cancer that women derive from cooking using these biofuels are very, very alarming, and we believe it's a public health and public finance issue. That's why, as a ministry, we're very passionate about this, Franklin and partners here, and we really want to carry forward. These are low-hanging fruits, which we believe will have direct impact on the lives and livelihood of our women.
We will now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we have more national and sports news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back, and this is QTV News. I am Umudu Gajaga, and here are the rest of tonight's news stories. A delegation comprising executive members of the Gambia's ruling National People's Party (NPP) and officials from the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology (MOHAS) has held high-level talks with senior leaders of the Communist Party of China in Heilongjiang Province. The meeting focused on strengthening cooperation in key development sectors, including agriculture, education, healthcare, and renewable energy. Loli M. Camera reports from Harbin in China.
High-level engagement took place on Sunday in Harbin, where Secretary of the Heilongjiang Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China, Xu Sheng, received the Gambian delegation at his office for bilateral discussions. The delegation was led by C.D. Sirif, Administrative Secretary of the National People's Party, who is currently participating in a seminar on governance and administration in Beijing. Welcoming the delegation on behalf of the Provincial Party Committee and provincial government, Xu Sheng highlighted the growing ties between China and the Gambia. He noted that under the strategic leadership of President Xi Jinping and President Adama Barrow, mutual trust between the two countries has continued to deepen, resulting in fruitful cooperation across multiple sectors. Xu Sheng expressed hope that the Gambian delegation would gain first-hand experience of China's modernization drive and the revitalization of Heilongjiang Province. He emphasized the importance of mutual learning and exchanges in advancing development and modernization efforts in both countries. He further reaffirmed the Heilongjiang Province's commitment to implementing the consensus reached by the leaders of China and the Gambia and strengthening party-to-party relations. He said the province is ready to deepen practical cooperation with the Gambia in modern agriculture, education, healthcare, culture and tourism, infrastructure development, equipment manufacturing, and renewable energy. According to Xu Sheng, such cooperation will contribute to building an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future while advancing China-Gambia strategic partnership. Responding on behalf of the delegation, NPP Administrative Secretary C.D. Sirif commended China's remarkable development achievements under the leadership of President Xi Jinping and expressed appreciation for the support and assistance extended by Heilongjiang Province to the Gambia. Mr. Cisse said the National People's Party, under the leadership of President Barrow, is keen to learn from China's governance experience and explore greater collaboration with Heilongjiang Province in areas such as agriculture, information technology, youth entrepreneurship, women's empowerment, skills development, and livelihood improvement. The meeting was attended by members of the National People's Party, officials from the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, representatives of the International Cooperation Center of China's National Development and Reform Commission, as well as provincial leaders and heads of relevant government departments. The engagements form part of ongoing efforts to strengthen bilateral relations and expand development cooperation between the Gambia and China. For QTV News, I am Loli M. Camera reporting from Harbin, Heilongjiang Province, China.
Next up is some international news. In Ghana, the capital Accra is experiencing rapid urbanization as thousands of people arrive every week in search of better opportunities. However, the growth is also raising concerns among some residents who fear that the indigenous language of the city's founders is gradually disappearing from everyday life. Now, efforts are underway to revive the language and preserve what's being called an important part of Accra's cultural identity. CGTN's Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports.
Ghana's capital, Accra, is a city of diverse people. Along the streets, conversations flow in English and other local languages. Kwade Ntre is a native of Accra who's worried that one language is becoming harder to hear in the city he calls home.
We have the adage that Ablekuma Abakuma Wo, which means may foreigners come and live with us. And we accepted everybody. And we accepted their language as well. And for that matter, our language got swollen.
Ga is the indigenous language of Accra.
Residents here say the Ga language was once heard everywhere in homes, schools, and markets. Now, many children grow up speaking English or Twi instead.
The concern has prompted a campaign by the Office of the Ga Traditional Council.
We want to partner with the Ministry of Education to integrate the Ga language in our GES curriculum.
The traditional ruler wants the Ga language to become a compulsory subject in primary and secondary schools across the Greater Accra region from next year. Supporters believe the move could help preserve the language for future generations.
It is a shame that other languages have dominated the Ga language here in Accra. It is important that we protect our language and ensure that our children learn it.
I moved from the eastern region of Ghana to live in Accra. My indigenous language is Akan, but I think learning the Ga language is important because it can help promote peaceful coexistence.
The government says it supports efforts to preserve indigenous languages and culture, but officials say making Ga a compulsory subject in schools would require broader consultations, curriculum changes, teaching materials, and more trained language teachers. As Accra continues to grow and welcome people from across Ghana and beyond, supporters of the campaign, like Kwade Ntre, say preserving the Ga language is crucial to safeguarding the history, identity, and heritage of the city itself. Nabil Ahmed Rufai, CGTN, Accra, Ghana.
Before we end this news bulletin, here is a recap of our main news headlines. The Gambia Revenue Authority GRA on Tuesday held a one-day sensitization workshop for taxpayers from financial institutions as part of efforts to introduce its new integrated tax administration system, ITAS, a major digital platform designed to modernize tax administration and improve taxpayer services across the country. The Gambia's economy recorded stronger growth in 2025, supported by increased activity across all sectors, strong tourism earnings, and continued remittance inflows. The findings were presented during the joint dissemination of the Gambia Economic Update and the Gambia Public Finance Review organized by the World Bank Group and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs on Tuesday. The government of the Gambia is working to improve access to clean cooking gas for women across the country. Finance and Economic Affairs Minister CDMB Cater says the initiative aims to help women cook in safer and better conditions throughout the year, regardless of the weather. And in international news, in Ghana, the capital Accra is experiencing rapid urbanization as thousands of people arrive every week in search of better opportunities. However, the growth is also raising concern among some residents who fear that the indigenous language of the city's founders is gradually disappearing from everyday life. That's all in tonight's news edition. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye.